I know there's still a few people grabbing some food, but I'm going to start. I'm really excited to be here today. My name is Meghan McCarthy. I'm the Director of Healthy Lives at Baptist Hospital. And I'm really excited that there are so many decision makers in the room today. And I know the decisions that are made by people in this room move Pensacola. Very important decisions are made that affect you and your families and your coworkers and really affect our county as a whole. But today what I'm going to talk about is the 227 decisions that you make every day that are life and death. And I'm not sure you have an appreciation for these decisions that you make, because this is the number of decisions that researchers up at Cornell found that we make every day about food. 227. Now, thankfully today, we probably took care of about 50 of them because we provided a very, very, very healthy lunch. But I want you to think about your personal 227 decisions that you make about the food that goes in your body. But I also want you to think very seriously about how you influence the 227 decisions of those around you. Do you bring in donuts? Do you eat lunch at your desk? Do you use food as a reward? Essentially, what I'm asking you right now is, do you use your power for nutritional good or evil? Consider a school. Consider a school that asks children to sit at a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day and fed them out of the vending machine. None of us here would send our children to that school because we would inherently know that those children would not be healthy, happy, or productive. We also know that we spend a lot of time at work. Department of Labor says on a good day, if you are full-time employed, you spend 8 hours at work on a good day, 8 hours sleeping on a good day, and you have 8 hours left to do what you want with your family and friends and be healthy. But unless we're utilizing those 8 hours at work, we're never going to get there. And you know what? We're not getting any more hours in the day. Time is a finite resource, but energy isn't. We also know, and especially everyone in here who's in HR knows, that the most valuable piece of equipment in all of our organizations is our humans. But very, very often, we take better care of our copy machines, right? They have a maintenance plan. We don't. So today, I'm going to take just a very quick opportunity to give you some tools. We're talking all these big ideas and how we are going to change Pensacola. But today, I'm going to give you just a few things that you can put into place today, that we can start that today, right now with this meal, eating a healthy lunch. We're halfway there. And then I want you to be able to teach this. I'm going to make Nutrition 101 so simple that in about 15 minutes less, even less, I can do it, that you can now share this with everyone you break bread with, your family, your friends, your coworkers, and that's how we're actually going to move the needle here in Pensacola. So, right, before we start making more decisions with our 227, we have to be informed. All right, there's only 3 macronutrients, only 3. All the food on your plate, everything you can put in your body really comes down to 3 things. And I'm going to tell you about those 3 things. The first one is fats, right? If you look on a nutrition label, there's a lot of different types of fats, poly and mono and saturated, unsaturated, and it can get really confusing. The 2 you need to keep straight are saturated fat, right here, lipid molecule, blanket of hydrogens, sticky, bulky, hard for our hearts to move. This fat is a solid at room temperature. These primarily come from animal sources. This is the fat you see on a steak, saturated fat. Unsaturated fat does not have that blanket of hydrogens. It's still a lipid molecule, but it's more viscous and it's easier for our hearts to move. These are liquids at room temperature. This is your olive oil, and they primarily come from plant sources. Saturated, unsaturated. Those are the only 2 you have to keep straight. Saturated fat, you want to be limited in your diet. You want to get most of your fats from the unsaturated kind because they're better for our hearts. But there is one real monster, just one. This monster is called trans fat. And it's a dead giveaway on the nutrition label because trans fat is in italics, so you know it's really evil. And trans fat doesn't occur in nature, right? It was made by some evil scientists in a food lab somewhere because they needed a fat that would stay on a shelf at boiling and at freezing and gets us Pop-Tarts for 50 years. Here's the problem. Trans fat melts at 113 degrees. And even with a fever, our little bodies never get that hot. So it really mucks up our hearts. Muck is a professional term, right? So if you can do one thing today as you walk out of here is to completely remove trans fat from your diet, and your heart will be healthier starting with today. And the only way to know if something has trans fat in it is to read the nutrition label, because we sneak it in, right? So look at salad dressings, look at the baking mixes, look at microwave popcorn. It might be a reason why you buy one brand of mac and cheese over another one, right? But Mother Nature doesn't make trans fat, so you don't have to worry about anything that comes from the earth. That's all you need to know about fats. Okay, protein. We love protein, right? Does lots of great things in our body, builds big muscles, has a lot of positive things. Now, a lot of people worry that they're not getting enough protein. Americans consume more protein than any other country in the world. And we think about meats and eggs and nuts when we think about protein. And that's all true. Those are great sources. But we also get protein from our veggies and from breads and a lot of other things. So if you're eating regular meals that are balanced, you're probably getting enough protein. This actually is meant to represent an MMA fighter who is a vegan, right? There's bodybuilders who are vegan, vegetarian diets. You can still get your protein. They're definitely healthy. You may have to work a little bit harder. But I also use protein as the opportunity to talk about water, because dehydration is incredibly underestimated, and it is very, very, very important. If you're dehydrated, it makes everything worse. If you have a headache, it makes your headache worse. If you have the flu, it's going to make your flu worse. There's a lot of things that water can do for us. A lot of times, if you're thirsty, you can mask thirst, confuse thirst with hunger. Water, is so crucial to our day. And this is the way I challenge people to look at it. Most people take a shower every day, right? For the most part, at least one. Now, we know that the shower is needed to just cleanse off our body, where our insides are not that much different from our outsides. And people tell me, well, that's okay, I drank Coke and I drank coffee, I got lots of liquids today. But would you take a Coke shower? Does that make any sense? You need actual water to help prevent that. And there is this fabulous, cheap, easy, painless test to see if you're dehydrated. And that is to check the color of your urine. I know it's lunchtime. It should be clear. It should be clear. And that's your body's alarm saying, I need more water. The other great thing about drinking enough water is that it is an alarm clock in your body that can be used while you're at work as an exercise break. So at Baptist, we have a little challenge that if you're drinking enough water throughout the day, you're probably going to go to the bathroom about 5 times. Now, when your body's alarm clock goes off and says, I need to use the restroom, instead of running to the bathroom around the corner and taking a 2-minute break, use that as an opportunity to get a little exercise. So we challenge people to go to the farthest bathroom they can, preferably down a flight of stairs, at least down a hallway. You do a few lunges on the stairs, a few lunges on the stairs, take a few deep breaths, and then when you get back to your chair, I'm going to use this one carefully. Before you sit down and go back to whatever you were doing, you're going to do 5 squats. Now, this sounds kind of silly, I'm sure you're all thinking, but if you do that every day, right, that's about 125 squats a week. That's 500 squats at the end of the month. And you didn't break a sweat, and you didn't join a gym. And all of a sudden, you have gotten consistent daily exercise during that bathroom break that you had never paid any attention to before. And if you get really ambitious, we can add in other exercises with bands and all these things that you can do at work while you're there, just utilizing that 8 hours that you're there. my favorite, carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are what is the talk of the town, right? We talk about good carbs, bad carbs, simple, complex. None of those words are on the food label. Under carbohydrates, there's only 2 words, fiber and sugar. This is fiber. And fiber is a magic bullet in nutrition. It does some amazing things in our body. It's also the #1 nutrient that Americans don't get enough of. And for something to be a good source of fiber, it has to have 3 grams. So I want you to check granola bars, cereals, bread products. 3 is the magic number for fiber. So fiber helps us lower our cholesterol, helps with saturated fat, helps us feel full. But when we talk about fiber, everybody thinks about being regular, right? Go ahead, laugh, get it out. It's like the 7th grade humor. But we thought we have to think about, why is being regular good? We never really stopped to think about that. Every day, we wash our hands lots of times, especially in healthcare, right? We're constantly washing our hands. And we put on lotion because we know that those cells are constantly sloughing off, and we can see if we have a cut on our hand, we see it heal. Well, our insides are much like our outsides. And so what fiber does, this gravelly brown loofah of fiber, it goes through our body and it takes off the dead cells and gets them out of our body, which allows the new healthy cells to grow. And that healthy cell cycle is what over time prevents cancer. This is also why you can't go home and eat 3 Fiber One bars and say you checked the fiber box. Because 1 fiber bomb is not equal to constantly having fiber in your body. Sugar. Sugar is our body's fastest source of energy, and it's very important for that reason. The reason we're talking so much about sugar right now is because sugar needs a key. So sugar is a locked molecule. We put sugar in our body, and our body has to produce a key to unlock it. And that key is insulin. Insulin is produced in our key-making machine called our pancreas. And our pancreas has a lifetime supply of keys. So if we eat a lot of sugar constantly on an empty stomach throughout the day, we're making our pancreas produce keys really fast and really big. And at some point, that pancreas says, I'm done. You get no more keys. And that's called diabetes. And this is part of what is changing Pensacola, but also changing America. Because our consumption of sugar is this key-making machine is wearing out earlier and earlier, especially with our children. For the first time in American history, the children born today are not expected to live longer than their parents. This is the first time in American history we're going backwards. So if you don't think your 227 decisions are life and death, you need to reconsider that. And you need to look at the impact that you have on everyone in this room. Because all of our health decisions are connected. There are some tricks about eating healthy. I'm not going to say that there's not. My favorite trick is don't make it harder than it needs to be. Okay? Mother Nature, smartest woman ever. She invented 100-calorie snack packs. She should have patented it because now they're everywhere. An average size apple, banana, orange, they're all about 100 calories. Hard-boiled egg, a little bit under 100 calories. Right? It's possible to think about foods in nature in the same way that we think about things that come in a little bag. Right? And even better, things like an apple creates balance. The inside is all fructose, that natural fruit sugar. Anything that ends in OSE is a sugar on the nutrition label. And the peel is all fiber. So you eat it together like Mother Nature intended, and you don't have to produce such a big key because you have those other macronutrients in there working together. That's kind of what a balanced diet means, is eating the foods in combination, right? We eat really fast. We eat a lot of meals in cars. This is how I think about it when I am when my body is screaming for food. Food should taste like neon looks. So if you're not tasting it, you need to slow down. It should be that dramatic. The food in front of you looks like neon. Does it taste like neon? Because it's bright and colorful and full of nutrients. This is a marathon runner. And as human nature, we are all drawn towards the big win, the 26 miles in one day. But what would be far better for your body would be to walk a mile for 26 days. Because the habits that we put in place every day are far more powerful than what we do every once in a while. If we are able to create work environments that have a healthy culture and provide fuel and opportunities to exercise and control stress, and we're in those bubbles Monday through Friday on a normal work week, even if we go out to have a big Sunday brunch after church on Sunday, that will pale in comparison to the 5 days where you did healthy, wonderful things to your body. So that's where our power is. Now, I want everyone to think for 1 minute about the healthiest time in your life. It may have been your wedding day, it may have been your high school graduation day, but when you felt energized and you slept well at night and you had your stress under control and maybe you were, you had high energy, all those things that we associate with health and feeling good. It may be a number on the scale, but it's probably not. It's probably more about a feeling. Think about that feeling. Now, think about feeling that right now, that the healthiest time in your life could be today, because it can, right? And we're not trying to turn people in the room to LeBron James or Heidi Klum. It's really about being the healthiest version of yourself. And then think about your place of work. And imagine everyone that you see every day at your workplace, and they were the healthiest versions of themselves. Could you imagine what a force Pensacola would be? We would be the healthiest, Escambia would be the healthiest county in Florida. That's what it's going to take. And so please do not underestimate the power of these 227 decisions you make or your influence on those around you, because we're underutilizing our work environments as an opportunity to create health in Pensacola. Thank you.